Hey up, it's that old Yorkshire geek here, back again with some more geeky news. Right, it was the Oscars last night, wasn't it? And things happened. Everybody knows about it, so I'll not dwell on that. But we are going to talk about the Oscars in a bit. Because geeky stuff won, such as Dune. But anyway, I'll make myself small, and I'll get my window up. Spladosh, there it is. First up, it's not exactly amazing as this, but there you go. The Orville Season 3 behind-the-scenes clip for Sitting Through Politics, says Seth MacFarlane. As many of you know by now, when he isn't working on the upcoming third season of Hulu's The Orville New Horizons, or the 100 other projects that are either in the air or in development, Seth MacFarlane makes sure folks know where he stands on a wide variety of political and non-political issues, like wanting to get Family Guy out from under the Fox shadow. It's Disney now, isn't it? Personally, we're big fans of his Twitter work and appreciate his willingness to put himself out there by taking positions considering how much of a multimedia heavyweight MacFarlane is. By the way, this is from Bleeding Cool, and as usual, all the links are in the description box below. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share the videos and use the notification bell and drop a comment. Be nice. And all that jazz. Where were we? But apparently he felt he owed Orville fans who follow him on Twitter a gift for sitting through politics. And what better way for MacFarlane to show his appreciation than with some video from production on the upcoming season. Okay, don't say official trailer because we all know it's way too early for that yet. Anyway, so here we go. So for a behind-the-scenes walkthrough of the set, check out the following clip that MacFarlane shared earlier today. It's amazing. I'm being sarcastic. You ready? Here we go. For sitting through politics, you'll get a little Orville behind the scenes. There. Amazing, eh? Just went up some stairs. Went up a spiral staircase. Unbelievable. And there'll be people freaking out over that. Oh, look at this, amazing! Jesus. With the series currently rolling ahead with post-production, Chad L. Coleman had some interesting Clyden-related teasers to offer viewers, including some rather intense moments between Clyden and Bortus. Peter Macon. Speaking with Express.co.uk, had these updates to pass on to viewers. Clyden and Bortus seek counselling after realising that divorce means having to kill one's spouse. The two will be in couples counselling and are slowly starting to patch up their relationship. But that won't be the only personal drama that Clyden will have to deal with. I forgot what happened in season. I'm going to have to watch season 2 again. I forgot what happened with them two. I know they had a daughter that they're changing to a son, didn't they? Yeah. Because of, they're an all male species, aren't they? But occasionally daughters are born, females, and they undergo gender reassignment, don't they? So I can't remember if it had anything to do with that. I forgot what happens with it. And I know Bortus had addiction problems, didn't he? Anyway, there's some serious drama for Clyden that's going to shake people and my whole Mauchline family, and running through the whole crew, period, Coleman added. Coleman believes fans will see the wait was worth... Oh, God. Coleman believes fans... I'll learn to read one of these days. Coleman believes fans will see the wait was more than worth it. It's hard to say, is that, for some reason? Especially when you're an idiot like me, I look forward to it, the new season. It's the best. I know people say, what else are you going to say? I'm like, no, honestly. It feels like if we never get the chance to do this again, we better do every damn thing we can, and it's truly jaw-dropping. The season is going to be jaw-dropping for real, incredibly epic. The special effects, everything is bigger and better. If you never see us again, you'll never forget us. Here's a look at McFarlane's tweet, going into further details on the delay, as well as appreciating the fans' patience. And there's a tweet there. That's from February. I can't be bothered clicking on that. I can't see it all anyway. I'd have to click on and go to Twitter, and I'm not fannying about. But anyway, he's just saying that, it's coming in June, so there you go. And there's a sneak peek. There's that video there in the I'm not going to show, because I'll probably get a copyright strike. Christ. Now launching on June 2nd, the Orville fans were treated to a look at Captain Ed Mercer McFarlane, Commander Kelly Grayson, Adrian Pelicki, Lieutenant Gordon Malloy, Scott Grimes, and Admiral Halsey, Victor Garber, in their welcome return. But that wasn't all, with looks at the season's newbies like Winters, as well as Bruce Boxleitner. What were you talking about? Like Winters? What does that mean? Is that a new character called Winters? Because I can't remember. Because I can't remember. I've seen this before and I can't remember. Because, as I said, I'm an idiot. Anyway, as well as Bruce Boxleitner, Babylon 5, and Tron, and the late Lisa Baines, Royal Pains, Nashville, guest starring as President Alcazan, and Senator Balask. The upcoming season also stars Penny Johnson-Gerald as Dr. Claire Finn, Peter Macon as Lieutenant Commander Bortus, Jay Lee as Lieutenant Commander John Lamar, Mark Jackson as Isaac, Chadel Coleman as Clyden, and Jessica Zor as Lieutenant Tala Kayali. In addition, the late Norm MacDonald will be heard once again as the gelatin Lieutenant Yaffet, with Eliza Taylor from the 100 on board to guest star, with no additional details released. With a new home and new missions, here's a look back at the teaser for Hulu's The Orville New Horizons, set to land on viewers' streaming screens on June 2nd, 2022. And there, that's it. You can view it yourself. At Hulu's Television Critics Association, TCA, session in August 2021, cracky, that's going back, Jordan Hellman, head of scripted originals, revealed that he had seen cuts of the third season, and while there wasn't a premiere date to announce at that time, Hellman was hopeful that the wait wouldn't be much longer. Well, it ended up being a year, doesn't it, nearly? And from what he had seen, it sounded like the wait would be worth it. The past year and a half has been complicated for a variety of levels as it pertains to production. I can't share a launch date, but we're really excited about what we've seen thus far, Hellman told Deadline Hollywood, while also confirming that McFarlane and John Cassar would be directing episodes. As for where the future of the popular sci-fi series may go from here, Hellman is keeping all options on the table as the future of the show remains an open conversation, and there have been no conversations otherwise. In fact, Hellman sees the third season as having the potential to grow the series' fan base even further. I believe the fans of the show that are coming to us from Fox will be deeply excited and satiated. I also think for new fans that maybe didn't experience it, it will feel new to them, he explained, and that's your lot. So then, there we go. So you saw somebody walking up some stairs, there you go, very nice. But that's it, June, it's coming on Hulu in America and on Disney Plus, probably wherever you don't have Hulu around the world. It's definitely on Disney Plus in the UK. There we go, right, moving on. This isn't new, this is a week old actually, but I only found out about this today. Strange New Worlds Klingons leak. Came across this video today with an image of an actor from Strange New Worlds. With an image an actor from Strange New Worlds posted. The picture could be of any alien, but certainly looks like a TNG-era Klingon with softened features, perhaps as a nod to the original series. Think this is a Strange New Worlds Klingon? Either way, I think Strange New Worlds could be an opportunity to address the disco, TNG, TMP and TOS styles, and basically just say all variations exist in the Empire. And there's the picture, you see, yeah. Don't know who that is, don't know if he's Louise, but that's definitely looks like a Klingon, doesn't it? Possibly. Could possibly be. It might not be though, I don't know. It could be another. You know what? I'm going to say that's not a Klingon. It's Klingon-like, but I'm going to say it's not a Klingon. Yeah, it's not a Klingon. That's my thing. But, I wouldn't be surprised if it is, because they're always changing things, aren't they? But, it could be. And anyway, the video. Where are we? It's there. If you go to this link here, I've put the link in the description. From WDIM Sci-Fi Movie and Series Breakdowns. They go into it. So like it's a 10-minute video, just under. And I've watched that, and it's very good. And they talk about how it was explained why the Klingons in the original series, didn't have ridges, and how it was explained in Star Trek Enterprise with an augment virus that swept through the Klingon people. And obviously, I suppose some people weren't affected by it. Some Klingons weren't affected by it, but, a lot of them were. And, the ridges receded. But obviously they came back, didn't they? Because we saw the likes of Kor and Koloth and all that, who were smooth in the original series, but when we saw them in like Deep Space Nine, they had the ridges back. So whether they grew back naturally, because of a cure to the augment virus, or if they had, corrective surgery, I don't. But it's, it's one of these things that keeps coming back to bite Star Trek in the bum, doesn't it? Klingon foreheads. But anyway. But as I said t'other day, I won't be surprised if they use Strange New Worlds and the new Kirk that they've cast for Season 2 as an excuse to redo, to remake the original series in the image of Kurtzman Trek. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all. At all. Right, so there you go. So that's just an interesting thing from a week ago, 6 days ago. So what do you think? Is it a Klingon? Is that a Klingon? I don't think it is. I think it's Klingon. It does look a bit Klingon, but I think it's going to be a different alien. Saying that, it's doing a scowl, a Klingon-like, angry thing, isn't it? So it could be a Klingon. It could be, I don't know. I'm 50-50 on it. Anyway, let's move on. Bit of Star Wars news. Exclusive mystery starts from Bespin Bulletin. Mystery Star Wars series Grammar Rodeo has started pre-production in Culver City, California. Again, this isn't new. This is from a few days ago. But I just found out about it today. Last month, it was revealed that a mysterious... I'm going to have a drink, sorry. I'm boozing tonight as well. I'm on the Corona Extra. Is that different to normal Corona? I don't know. I'm not a drinker anymore. Used to be. Not anymore. Last month it was revealed that a mysterious Star Wars project with the working title Grammar Rodeo was revealed via Production Weekly. I corroborated those claims, as in the Bespin Bulletin, not me. I corroborated those claims and exclusively revealed that the series would begin principal photography in June and would film until December. I also added that the series would not be set during the era of The Mandalorian and that one familiar name was attached to the series. Around the same time, other outlets revealed more details around the series, including discussing film. Pardon me, say booze, got me burping. Who revealed that Jon Favreau was on board as a producer for the series and that Spider-Man No Way Home director John Watts was in talks to direct episodes of the mystery series. Cinelinx revealed that they had heard the series was set during the High Republic, focused on a group of pre-teens, and had the series described to them as Stranger Things in space. God, that'd be awful. Murphy's Multiverse and the Illuminati both revealed casting details, which I too saw and could corroborate. I also was able to back up the High Republic setting by Cinelinx. The series is just a few short months away from the start of filming, but I've been informed and can now exclusively reveal that the show has been in pre-production for a small number of weeks at a studio in Culver City, California, where sets are being prepared ahead of the June start. The series is also due to film at Manhattan Beach Studios, where The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan Kenobi all filmed primarily for their respective series and houses a volume. That's, the stagecraft screens that they use. Despite pre-production in Culver City beginning, Lucasfilm have yet to confirm to acknowledge the existence of the Grammar Rodeo series at this time. However, I am of the belief that the series could be announced on May the 4th. Be with you! Or at Star Wars Celebration later that same month. Obviously, it's just a... Oh, yeah, it says there. I was going to say, obviously, Grammar Rodeo is just a code name, isn't it? It's like Blue Harvest, with a code name for Return of the Jedi. Where were we? Right, I've got to scroll a bit. The codename Grammar Rodeo is likely a reference to an episode of The Simpsons. In the episode titled Bart on the Road, Bart and some of the other children trick their parents into letting them take a trip, with the kids telling the parents that they're going to the National Grammar Rodeo. The Mandalorian is currently still filming, and I recently saw them setting up another new set for the series, which I'll share more on shortly. Ahsoka is currently still slated to film in late April, which I previously revealed, and the Hollywood Reporter backed up. But with weeks being added to The Mandalorian, I wouldn't be shocked to see an ever so slight delay on the start date. I'm currently sitting on more news from The Mandalorian Season 3 as well as Andor information, so expect some updates from me very soon. If you want to keep up to date with the latest leaks, news, reputable rumours and my exclusive reports, then be sure to sign up to my mailing list below. I'm sure it's down there somewhere. And if you're a fan of my work and would like to show your appreciation, you can tip me on my Ko-Fi, is it coffee page? Is that what it means? Oh, I don't know. Here, there. So there you go. But this is from like a week ago. I don't know if he's done any updates since then. I did go to the front page, but I wasn't paying attention. No Jedi Fallen Order. Oh, then that what we've just seen. So no, there aren't any updates then. So there you go. So there. That's a High Republic series. Did it say series? Yeah, series. Is in production. Will it be good? Dunno, because, you know, they've all got Kathleen Kennedy's claw marks on, haven't they? But we'll see. Maybe she's learnt a lesson. Right, Oscars. Dune wins 6 Oscars. Abu Dhabi shot. Because you know about the Flintstones. The United Arab Emirates doesn't like the Flintstones, but Abu Dhabi do. Abu Dhabi shot sci-fi film gets most awards on the night. And there's him. Oscar Isaac, that's it. It was the only film to win more than 2 BAFTAs, and now Dune, the Denis Villeneuve-directed sci-fi movie that was partly shot in Abu Dhabi. I'm presuming this website's to do from Abu Dhabi, I don't know. I've never heard of it. What is it? The National News. Maybe it's an Abu Dhabi-based website. Don't know. Anyway, it has bagged 6 Oscars. The 94th Academy Awards took place on Sunday night at the Dolby Theatre in Hollywood. It was a dramatic night, not least because of the dazzling outfits on the red carpet and tearful speeches, but also because of the on-stage tussle between Will Smith and Chris Rock. Not exactly a tussle, was it? And Smith hitting Rock for joking about his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith. She should wear a wig. I'm sorry, you know, I'm sorry she's got alopecia, and you shouldn't, but comedians take piss, don't they? That's what comedians do, and if you're prominent in an awards ceremony, you're fair game. Anyway, Dune, adapted from Frank Herbert's book series of the same name, received 10 Oscar nominations, including Best Picture, Cinematography and Adapted Screenplay. It won Best Visual Effects, Best Cinematography, Best Production Design, Best Original Score, Best Film Editing and Best Sound. The film, which stars Timothée Chalamet, Rebecca Ferguson, Oscar Isaac and Zendaya, was shot in the Liwa Desert in Abu Dhabi in the summer of 2019. The vast open landscape was used as the setting for the planet Arrakis, a dangerous place known for its exclusive supply of spice, the most essential and valuable commodity in the universe. This is an absolutely phenomenal moment, Hans Freykin, Abu Dhabi Film Commissioner, told The National. A huge congratulations to all on this incredible success. Pardon me. Freykin said the film has performed the rare achievement of becoming critically acclaimed for its technique, storytelling and artistry, as well as being one of the biggest box office successes worldwide since its release. I speak for everyone in Abu Dhabi when I say we are very proud to have contributed to its success through Abu Dhabi Film Commission's 30% cashback rebate, a successful collaboration with Epic Films, and introducing Denis to the magnificent sea of sand dunes that have provided such a unique and memorable location for the shoot, fully embodying the spice planet Arrakis. Sorry, I'm laughing because I can't stop thinking about Flintstones when I see Abu Dhabi. Making Dune, maybe an Abu Dhabi person will come and slap me. Making Dune and bringing Denis' vision to life was a true passion project for many of us, so its success at the Oscars, BAFTAs and Critics' Choice Awards is incredibly rewarding. I am delighted for Legendary Pictures and everyone who worked on the film in Abu Dhabi and around the world. Oh, we haven't done yet. How long's it gone for? Oh no, it's nearly done. Best Sound was one of the 8 statuettes that were handed out off-air ahead of the ceremony. Theo Green, one of Dune's 5 sound specialists cited by the Academy, thanked Villeneuve in edited remarks shown during the live Oscars telecast. You, sir, were like the spice flowing through our brains, turning our humble ideas into your imaginary world. When it was announced that the film had been nominated for 10 awards, the Abu Dhabi Film Commission congratulated its cast and crew and wished them luck and success at the ceremony. Ever since Denis Villeneuve first visited Abu Dhabi, looking for a location for the planet Arrakis, it was clear that the Emirates' breathtaking desert landscapes were the perfect backdrop for his adaptation of Dune, Frakin said after the nominations were announced. I nearly missed that word. Oh, way over there, look. The scenes shot in the stunning Liwa Desert bring to life the adventure, mystery and romance of this legendary sci-fi tale, taking on a unique character that simply couldn't have been created anywhere else in the world. We always knew that this film would be a spectacular piece of cinematography, and its critical and commercial success have shown it was even more impressive than we imagined. In light of Dune's success, it was confirmed in October that a sequel is in the works. Warner Brothers Pictures Group Chairman Toby Emmerich announced that the studio would release Dune Part 2 in October 2023. There you go. Dune won 6. I think it was the highest for that for this current Oscars. I mean, the Oscars, we're going to go through the awards now, the list. They seem to be a bit all over the place this year. A bit higgledy-piggledy. Best Picture was Coda. That won that. I've no idea what it's about. I'm sure it's a good film. Best Actress in a Supporting Role, Ariana DeBose for West Side Story. Not seen it. Actor in a Supporting Role, Troy Kotsur, I don't know how to pronounce it, for Coda. So there we go, that's 2 for Coda. Best International Feature Film, Drive My Car. Documentary Short, The Queen of Basketball. Documentary Feature, Summer of Soul. Original Song, No Time to Die. Didn't like it. I didn't mind the film, apart from the ending, but I didn't like the film. But at least it wasn't I forgot his name now. The Quantum of Solace song. Oh God, that was awful. At least it wasn't as bad as that. But yeah, No Time to Die won for best song. I can't. Billie Eilish won it. That Billie Eilish. Yeah. Who looks stunning in a dress, by the way, because it come across this tomboy, young lady, doesn't she? She's tomboyish, but then she puts a dress on for that photo shoot, and you think, wow, bloody hell, crikey Moses. Animated feature film, Encanto. I've not seen it. I haven't seen any, Disney animations for ages. And for some reason, they just haven't interested me. Best adapted screenplay, Coda. That's 3 for Coda. Best original screenplay, Belfast. That's the brain gone out the window. Him anyway. It's a semi-autobiographical, isn't it, by him. Oh, what do they call him now? Tell you, my brain just shuts down sometimes. It does. It'll come back to me. I'll be on about something else, and then his name will just pop in. Here we go. Actor in the leading role, Will Smith, King Richard. That were awkward. That were awkward after what happened. We'll talk about it in a minute, because I think there's more to it than meets the eye. Jessica Chastain for actress in the leading role, The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Never heard of it. Best director, Kenneth Branagh, says there. But Kenneth Branagh, that's what I'm thinking of. Best director, Jane Campion for The Power of the Dog. There you go. Weird, isn't it, when they split them up? Best director and best film. I know a film is, a beast of many heads, as they say. Is that right? Or is that is that from somewhere else? Anyway, but usually the best director and best picture winners are more often than not the same, aren't they? But this year it was the same at the BAFTAs though, wasn't it? They split them up. Right, best production design, Dune. Best cinematography, Dune. Best costume design, Cruella. My son likes that. I keep trying to tell him the only Cruella is, the cartoon Cruella. Or Glenn Close at a pinch. You don't need an origin story for Cruella. It's all in the name. Achievement in sound, Dune. Animated short film. The Windshield Wiper. A live action short film, The Long Goodbye. Original score, Dune. It wasn't really a score though, was it? It was just noises, wasn't it? Like I say, industrial sounds. So that's a weird one. Best visual effects, Dune, fair enough. Oh, pardon me. Best film editing, Dune. Makeup and hairstyling, The Eyes of Tammy Faye. Is that it? That's not all of them, is it? Yeah, they're main ones, I suppose. They're main ones. There you go. There you go. They're the list of winners. I didn't watch the show because I wasn't stopping up, and I don't know if it were on like free TV. I don't get Sky. It's usually on Sky in UK, and I don't subscribe to the Sky like movie channels, which is what it's usually on. Right, let's move on. Where are we? Are we there? Right. I was going to say something. I forgot what it was now. Oh, we were going to talk about Will Smith, weren't we? That's what we're going to talk about. There was something a bit off about it to me. Yeah, he did seem angry, but he's an actor, Oscar-winning actor, Will Smith. So it could have all been a bit, staged. I mean, Chris Rock's an actor as well, don't forget. They're all actors, aren't they? So, and he did seem to lean forward, Chris Rock, when... So it was like he was expecting something like that to go down. And it didn't look like a very hard hit to me. So, anyway. So I think, I'm of the opinion it was staged. And, the language, they thought, go for it, swear if you want to. We can always beep it out. There's a delay just to get the, people talking about the Oscars again. Because people haven't been talking about the Oscars for a few years, have they? So I think that's what it's all about. Just to get some people talking. Right. Hellboy director Neil Marshall explains what went wrong with the 2019 film. And there is David Harbour. I can't remember the name as Hellboy. And you know what? I didn't actually mind that 2019 film. I didn't think it was as good as the Guillermo del Toro ones. But, it was okay. I didn't mind it. Right. Neil Marshall, the director known for The Descent and Dog Soldiers, don't forget, and a few episodes of Game of Thrones. What else did he do? Doomsday, that's a good film, with Rona Mitra and Bob Hoskins. Anyway, Neil Marshall, the director known for The Descent and the misfire that was the Hellboy reboot, opened up recently as to why the film was such a terrible mistake for him to be a part of. Speaking with a critical drinker on his After Hours show, Marshall recounted that there was too much studio interference, which wasn't helped by the screenplay being so lacklustre for the filmmaker. The experience was shit, he says with a laugh. It was the worst professional experience of my life. Sold on the pitch from Lionsgate to make a dark horror version of Hellboy, Marshall quickly realised that he was caught in a trap with a bad script that wasn't ever going to get better. You can't polish a turd, he quipped. Creative control was taken from him right away, and he was unhappy with the CG gore done in post-production. None of it was his idea, but some people still think he was leaving his mark on the film. I saw some of the video, the Critical Drinker video. You should subscribe to him, he's good. He's got over 1 million subscribers now. Hey, and I've got 22. But I'm not talented like he is. Anyway, where were we? I saw the interview, and he was saying, I forgot what I'm going to say now. What were we on about? Oh, the CG gore. He said you got all this, we wanted actual gore on set and that, but they decided, were told, no, we'll do it afterwards. And he wanted to use all squibs and stuff and all this, and, buckets of blood. But no, they wouldn't let him. Anyway. Quite to the contrary, Marshall swears there is very little of himself and his trademarks in Hellboy, and he doesn't consider it part of his canon. He used to writing his own films from Dog Soldiers to Doomsday 2008. Hellboy's script was one Marshall did not pen in a first for him. I won't make that mistake again, he said, adding it was a learning experience. Although before that he had done some episodes of Game of Thrones, and I'm sure he didn't write them. To that point, Marshall was dealing with the biggest budget he's ever had, an estimated $50 million, and he was eager to get back into feature films when he hadn't made one in a decade. Happy enough to sign on, he made it to the set, and the rest was messy history. It's a shame because I think there's a good Hellboy movie out there to be done, but that's not it, said Marshall. The Hellboy we got, he explained further, was the result of studio people butting in and giving actors new directions in the midst of filming, which is bad for everybody, save for maybe star David Harbour, who blamed Guillermo del Toro fans and Marvel for the film's failure. Maybe it just wasn't very good. But as I said, I didn't mind it, and that's obviously Ron Perlman in the original Hellboy by Guillermo del Toro. But as I said, I didn't actually mind it. I didn't think it were amazing or anything like that, but, I didn't think it were rubbish either. So I thought it were okay. It wasn't as bad as everybody makes out. Right, Star Wars Andor. It's a list. 10 mistakes the Disney Plus series needs to avoid. Andor has the potential to be as great as Rogue One. That is, assuming the show avoids critical mistakes other Star Wars properties have made. And as I said before, I think Rogue One is my favourite Star Wars film. And that's from the Disney Star Wars era. Because it's actually a war film. It's not perfect by any means, but, it's a lot of fun and it's super action-packed and I really enjoy watching it. So there. Bleh. One of the original Disney Plus Star Wars shows slated for release in 2022 is Andor, a series set to follow the character from Rogue One, a Star Wars story. You can miss that last bit out. In the early days of the rebellion, it is far from the most anticipated title, but it is one that has so much potential to be a hit, just like the movie it is spinning off from was. That is, assuming the show avoids critical mistakes. Star Wars TV shows have mainly been incredible thus far in the canon. They haven't been incredible, they've been okay. Apart from Boba Fett, which, were boring for the most part. With the Clone Wars, Rebels and Mandalorian especially getting a lot of love. For Cassian to reach those levels, it must ensure it does not make these detrimental, destructive narrative errors. Right, contradicting the canon. There have been a couple of instances where Star Wars TV shows have slightly altered or contradicted the canon established in the books or comics of the extended canon, and while this is fine for small, inoffensive things, it cannot be made a habit. I know I've got pop as well. I've got pop and booze. There's no stopping me. There's not a lot of canon content out there surrounding Cassian, but it still exists in the Cassian and K2SO comic, and there's a ton of content covered in the Rebellion. Minor contradictions are obviously okay and mean nothing overall, but significant changes can seriously harm the show to hardcore fans and alienate them, making getting involved in the deep, expansive extended canon lose its appeal. They'll mess some up. I mean, your hardcore fans notice every slight thing. They do. And I'm one of them. I'm not a hardcore fan, but I notice, if something's not right, it's a an X. Cross it out. Anyway, leaning too heavily on fan service. I mean, I didn't like that bit in Rogue One. I must admit that was one thing I didn't like. It was pointless, to be honest. Plus, it looked rubbish. I mean, he looks nothing like the character in A New Hope, and that mask just doesn't look very good anyway. So somehow it doesn't look as good as the mask in A New Hope. And we're like, 40 years later, or 30 odd years later at the time, wasn't it? Fan service is such a tricky thing in Star Wars. When it's done well, it's incredible and should be loved by all fans since it is done for them. Being too reliant on it, though, can be a big mistake. Star Wars is trying to move forward and create new stories branching out from the Skywalker saga. If Andor was littered with nothing but references, memes, cameos, and just overloaded with fan service, it would ruin the show. The right amount of references like this can enhance a project, and too much will sour many. If you just stick them in for no reason, like that one was stuck in for no reason, then it's a bit much. But like the ones that were in the battle at the end, where you saw Red Leader and all them, Gold Leader, fair enough, because they would have been there. So that wasn't fan service. That were good. That were good with that. But that wasn't. You watch yourself. Not like him. Ponda Baba and Dr. Everson. Is it Everson? Everson, whatever. Looks nothing like the characters in A New Hope. And obviously they got off planet pretty quick, didn't they? Because like a few hours later, that city blew up, didn't it? Spoilers. Right, where were we? Overshadowing the central character. One of the criticisms many have launched at the Book of Boba Fett is that it really does not focus enough or explore enough the character of Boba Fett. Given the title of the show, Andor cannot afford to do that. A whole 2 episodes of this show not involving Cassian would be criminal and would rightfully be vilified by fans. The Book of Boba Fett was structured like a book, and so can be somewhat forgiven. It's structured like a book, in that each episode were called, chapter whatever. That's all. It's a TV show, crying out loud. Because it's called The Book of Boba Fett, doesn't mean it's structured like a book. Anyway, especially since the episodes without Boba were so outstanding. Yeah, they were the best ones. However, this series cannot afford to emphasise everyone else over its titular character, though. The use of... The trouble is that Cassian Andor, not a lot of people know him, do they? So it's not difficult to overshadow him. He will be overshadowed. There'll be characters that we know that'll just immediately overshadow him. The use of Force users... And there's Cal Kestis from that new game. What they call Fallen Order, Jedi Fallen Order. If there's any upcoming show that could do without any Force users, it is Andor. Of course, if there's a story arc there and a real purpose for them that is executed well, the plot should include a Force-using character, but relying on them would be a mistake. This is meant to be a spy story focusing on Cassian and the early days of the rebellion. Not only are there few Jedi around at this time, but many of them are also hidden and are being hunted. The likes of Cal Kestis, Ahsoka Tano and the Ghost Crew could pop up, but they would most likely take away from the main cast. Inquisitorius may be a better fit though. And we do know that in Rogue One he obviously knows about what do they call them? Guardians of the Wills. He knows about them, don't they? And even though they're not Force users, they may be sensitive, Force sensitive slightly, because they would get using that mantra, didn't the Force is with me and I'm one with the Force, or whatever it was. And it did seem to work for a while. Anyway, not diving into Cassian's past. Cassian was established as a fascinating character in Rogue One thanks to his past, being a part of the fight since he was a child and being a former separatist. Rogue One did not develop his characterization much, but Andor needs to. Being a separatist turned rebel is not something that has come along often in the canon so far, making for some intriguing possibilities for Cassian's character exploration. From being a separatist to his finding the rebellion to even encountering the in-between of the galaxy, such as one of the powerful Star Wars crime syndicates. The show does not necessarily need flashbacks, but if Season 1 finishes and audiences know just as much about his past as they did going into it, something has gone wrong. Yeah, I think they will. They'll do flashbacks. We'll see a young Cassian during the Clone Wars, altering Cassian into a less edgy character. I think they'll do that as well, to be honest. I mean, it showed in Rogue One that they were willing to murder people. Murder people. Forces of Destiny is a fun little show, so often immediately dismissed. It was rubbish. But it has some great moments and unlikely duos. One of its worst episodes, though, is Jyn, who is presented as a far more basic heroine than what Rogue One gives viewers. Andor cannot do this with Cassian. In that micro-series, Jyn acts totally out of character with no edge. Now, it is the most childish of all Star Wars canon shows, so it can be overlooked, but it is still canon, and did not really need to be. It was rubbish. Just forget it, erase it. Cassian is shown to be ruthless and willing to do whatever he needs to do for the rebellion in Rogue One. That edge must be maintained. Not only that, it should be furthered, since this comes in the early days of the rebellion. Not leaning into this is what they shouldn't do, by the way. Not leaning into the spy thriller aspect of the show. One of the beautiful things about Star Wars is how it has the potential to branch out into so many genres, both broad and specific, from horror to adventure to romance, to in the case of Andor, spy thriller. It is one of the most exciting things about the show. Fans have yet to get a proper full spy-type story told on screen, and the series should lean right into it with double crosses, espionage, and a ton of thrills and kills. Some fans may be disappointed if it is a very diluted, loose spy story. Yeah, it will be. It will be. Utilising the wrong... I mean, that bit in Rogue One were great, where they were in disguise trying to infiltrate the Imperial base on Scarif. That were really good with that. She shouldn't have had her eyes. That should have been closed all the time. But yeah, that was a really good bit. Utilising the wrong character cameos. Some great characters are confirmed to appear in the Andor show, such as two of Star Wars' most underrated rebels, Bail Organa and Mon Mothma. Of course, audiences expect more familiar faces. That can be a tricky thing for a show to pull off well. Black Chrysanthemum was a great initial fit for the Book of Boba Fett. Fennec Shand was badass in the Bad Batch, but did 3PO and R2 need to pop up in Rogue One? No, they didn't. Having familiar rebels pop up, people like Saw perhaps would be great. So too would Imperial officers who are around at the time. But if the show has the wrong kind of characters cameo, it could become subject to criticism from fans who just want an original story without recycled fan servicey appearances. A lack of stakes. I've nearly done it. Has this been 10? It seems to be going on forever. One of the things that makes Star Wars shows so tricky is knowing the fate of the characters. Every fan knows that Cassian, Mon Mothma or Bail Organa won't be killed off in the show because they know how they die already, and that can take away from the tension and stakes. Well, Mon Mothma doesn't die, does she? We know Mon Mothma doesn't die. I don't think. No. Anyway. Of course, stakes are not exclusively character fates, and the series has a variety of ways it can add suspense and keep fans on the edge of their seat. However, if the show puts Cassian in life-threatening situations in every other episode and threatens events that fans know cannot happen, the show will lack a lot of emotional resonance that viewers need to connect with the story. I mean, yeah, obviously they've got to put him in danger, haven't they? But we know he won't die. Oh, you all right, princessy? What's the matter? What are you meowing for? You want to go out? Hang on then. I'll just let Princess out. Just bear with me. I'll be right back. I'm back. Where's my thingamabob? How do I get out of that? How do I get out of this now? I don't know how to do this. Oh, heck, where are we? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? There we go. There we go. Right, we're back. Oh, crikey. I was pressing buttons and didn't know what were happening then. Right, I just had to let the cat out. She was meowing. Did you hear her? Bless her. She's gorgeous. What were I saying? Oh, yeah, they've got to put him in danger, haven't they? But obviously we know he won't die. But, he can get hurt. Can still get hurt. And there can still be, jeopardy and all that and tension. So I'm sure they'll do a lot of that. Not exploring morality. Cassian's morality and the lengths he is willing to go to will likely be a focal point of the show. It should not just be his morality that's explored, though. The moral grey area occupied by rebellion and resistance has been touched on in The Last Jedi, Rebels, The Bad Batch, Rogue One, and in the extended canon. And it must continue to be delved into here. Rebels cannot be painted as simple heroes just because they are fighting the Empire, because it is not the truth. Looking at the morality of the rebellion as a whole and regarding individuals like Cassian would add so much, not just to the show, but to how fans view the Galactic Civil War. I'm sure they'll have at least one episode where a lot of civilians get killed because of something Cassian does. He'll blow something up, and it'll be in a town or a village or something. There'll be a lot of innocent people that get killed, but the place had to go, and the only way to do it was to blow it all up and, sacrifice all them people. I reckon that'll happen. Anyway, I'm looking forward to it, but I can't remember when it's on. Does it say? Does it say when it's on? When does it start? No, it don't say, does it? It don't say when Andor starts. Did it say at the beginning? Because I was reading it, but I wasn't really paying much attention. No, it doesn't say. Anyway, whatever. Whenever it's on, I'll enjoy it, because I liked Rogue One. Right. Star Trek. 13 best Star Trek episodes directed by Star Trek actors, and I'm sure I'll disagree with a lot of these, because it's Collider. That's from A Fistful of Datas, isn't it? Which is an episode I didn't like, and that was directed by Patrick Stewart. Anyway, a well-known fact about the Star Trek franchise is that several actors caught the directing bug while working on their respective shows and have gone on to carve out successful careers behind the camera, though some actors dabbled only within the franchise, others branched out and have credits across genres, television shows and films. Among the roster of actors, Jonathan Frakes, LeVar Burton, Roxanne Dawson and Robert Duncan McNeil have put their acting careers on the back burner in favour of directing. Several actors on Star Trek shows have multiple directing credits in Star Trek, and each brings their own unique style to the proceedings. Everyone has their favourites, but let's take a look at some of the best Star Trek episodes directed by Star Trek actors. For this list, we're looking at directorial efforts of actors who are members of the main cast of a Star Trek series, not guest stars or recurring actors. Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Season 4, Episode 4, Hippocratic Oath. The late René Auberjonois, hope I pronounced that right, who starred as Chief Odo on Star Trek Deep Space Nine, had a total of 9 directing credits in the series. One of his most unforgettable directorial efforts was Hippocratic Oath, an episode where best friends Dr. Julian Bashir and Miles O'Brien, Alexander Siddig and Colin Meaney, find themselves on ideologically opposing sides. After their runabout crashes in enemy territory, the Jem'Hadar leader asks Bashir for help, but O'Brien believes this is a fool's errand. Auberjonois captures the tension of the character's situation while ramping up the friction between the two friends. He's also able to lighten the mood with the B-plot involving Worf, Michael Dorn, and perennial nuisance Quark Armin Shimmerman, which balances out the intensity of the episode. Yeah, it's not a bad episode, it's Hippocratic Oath. As I said, these Jem'Hadar, I think they're running out of Ketracel White, or they've run out, and I think the first, there's something about him that He's not addicted to it, and wants Julian to work out how to make the rest of his men not addicted to the drug that the founders give them, to keep them loyal. But because the rest of them, if they don't get it, they'll die. The rest of the Jem'Hadar will die without Ketracel White. But Miles O'Brien obviously thinks that this is a bad idea. They're the enemy. They're killing millions of people in the Alpha Quadrant and Beta Quadrant. That's one thing about Star Trek that gets on my nerves. They just say the Alpha Quadrant, but they forget that all of our people that we know are straddled across the Alpha and Beta Quadrants, or Beta Quadrants, however you want to pronounce it. But anyway, there's tension between them, and he ends up, obviously, Julian is a lieutenant. I think he's just he might be a full lieutenant by this stage. I think in the early seasons he was a lieutenant junior grade, wasn't he? But I think he might be a full lieutenant by now. Obviously outranks Miles, who's not an officer, is he? He's an enlisted crewman. He's a chief petty officer, isn't he? That's what he is. Even though he's the chief of operations, basically even an ensign outranks him, which is mental. I don't think it would work like that quite in actuality. I think if a less experienced, officer tried to give an experienced chief petty officer an order, which they don't agree with, because of their experience, I think they'd be within the rights to not obey it, wouldn't they? But anyway, it's not a bad episode, that. Anyway, right, Star Trek Deep Space Nine again, Season 6, Episode 13, Far Beyond the Stars. Avery Brooks brought one of Deep Space Nine's most impactful episodes to life on screen and behind the camera. In Far Beyond the Stars, Captain Benjamin Sisko Brooks receives a vision from the prophets where he is a 1950s science fiction writer named Benny. The episode is a gut-wrenching and poignant look at racial bias in the US, told through the eyes of a man out of time. Brooks is able to bring out riveting performances from his colleagues, whether they're playing no-nonsense editors or silly secretaries. But it's his own ability to capture the nuances of Benny and Sisko's grievances, all while directing the episode, that makes Far Beyond the Stars not only one of Brooks' best directing efforts, but one of the show's best episodes overall. Yeah, I think it won a slew of awards, didn't it? But I've got to admit, it's not one of my favourite episodes because it is quite uncomfortable to watch. It's not a fun episode. It's not a nice episode, but it is, a great episode. Star Trek Voyager Season 1, Episode 8, Ex Post Facto. I mean, I love Voyager, but I don't think a lot of episodes in Season 1 can't be counted as among the greats. Anyway, LeVar Burton has plenty of Star Trek Voyager directing credits, starting with Ex Post Facto. This Season 1 episode directly riffs on classic whodunits, which is hardly a surprise, as the Next Generation included many nods to murder mysteries, especially Sherlock Holmes stories. In the episode, Tom Paris is sentenced to relive the final moments of the man he supposedly murdered on an alien planet. When Voyager finds out, Tuvok, Tim Russ, is sent to investigate what really happened. This episode is gloriously cheesy, and Burton captures the old-school noir style of storytelling from the first scene onwards. He perfectly pairs the gimmicks of the 24th century with archetypal elements of this kind of story. It's a fun, intense, and steamy romp. I didn't like it. I didn't like that episode, and it's one I'd generally skip. There, I don't like episodes like that. Episodes where they've committed a crime and they've got to pay for it, stuff like that. I don't like them sort of episodes. Episodes where they're all in a prison and they've lost their memories, an alien prison, and that happens quite a bit as well. Even happened in Stargate, and I think, stop it. Anyway, Star Trek Voyager Season 5, Episode 6, Timeless. This is a good one. One of the most heartbreaking time travel stories on Voyager, maybe even all of Star Trek, is Timeless. Harry Kim, Garrett Wang, and Chakotay, Robert Beltran, are the only living members of Voyager after an accident kills the rest of the crew, and now they're desperate to use new technology to send a message into the past and save their friends. Burton infuses a great sense of melancholy. It's obviously LeVar Burton directed this one as well. Burton infuses a great sense of melancholy in every scene of this episode, making the viewers feel the weight of Harry and Chakotay's loss. There are moments of levity that undercut the intensity, but never downplay it. Burton's skilled hand comes to the fore in the final act when the tension is ramped up and everything is at stake. This is an incredibly moving episode because of the writing and Burton's direction, and he also appears as Captain Geordie LaForge in I can't remember the name of his ship, I forgot. But I think, is it a Galaxy? It's either a Galaxy class or a Nebula class ship he's in anyway. But when he's chasing them down in the Delta Flyer that they've stolen. Yeah, it's a good episode, is that. Right, Star Trek Voyager again, Season 6, Episode 6, Riddles. Roxanne Dawson's directorial debut was the remarkably touching episode Riddles, starring Voyager's odd couple Tuvok and Neelix, Ethan Phillips. In the episode, Tuvok is injured by an alien weapon, causing him to lose all his memories. Neelix, who was on the away mission with Tuvok, takes it upon himself to help Tuvok on his road to recovery. Tuvok and Neelix have always had a strained relationship, but this episode puts a different spin on the pair, making their latent fondness for each other bubble to the surface. Dawson brings out the best in Phillips, and especially Russ, since Riddles is a departure for him. Usually Russ has to play Tuvok as a stoic Vulcan. The episode will get you in the feels and leave you with a warm and fuzzy feeling. You know what? I can't remember this episode. I've seen it, but I honestly can't remember it. Star Trek Enterprise, yeah, Season 1, Episode 7, The Andorian Incident. I like this episode, it's a good one. Though Star Trek Enterprise is disliked by many, one of the episodes heralded as a success in the series is The Andorian Incident. This was the first of many episodes that Roxanne Dawson would go on to direct on the series. On a trip to a Vulcan monastery, Pajem, Captain Jonathan Archer, Scott Bakula, Trip Tucker, Connor Trinier, and T'Pol, Jolene Blaylock find the place swarming with uninvited guests, the Andorians. The episode is thrilling and chilling as Dawson and the writers turn the oft laughable Andorians into menacing enemies and showcase the Enterprise crew in real peril. The interplay between the away team and the aliens, especially Jeffrey Combs as Shran, is compelling, all of which culminates in a tense and satisfying final act. It's one of the episodes that shows us that in this time, before Season 4 of Enterprise, the Vulcans, although they try to claim that they're logical and all that, they're not the sneaky buggers. They're sneaky buggers, and they're not. They're a long way from like the Vulcans of Spock's time, and there's a reason for it. Which is explained in Season 4 of Enterprise. Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 3, Episode 16, The Offspring. Another one I'm not, to be honest, a fan of. A lot of people like it, but I'm not a fan of it. Jonathan Frakes' first directing effort on The Next Generation, I always thought it was a Drumhead, but it must be this one, was a data-centred Brent Spiner episode. Sad I picked the Drumhead, to be honest. Anyway, in The Offspring, Data creates his own android Lal Halitodd and perceives her to be his child, except since Lal is an android who is also a full-grown woman and a novelty, Data's stint at parenting doesn't go as planned. This is a rollercoaster ride of an episode with comedy and tragedy intermixed. Under Frakes' guidance, the performances are superb, especially Halitodd, who appears as a guest star and believably portrays the childlike naivety of a newborn as well as the chaos of a synthetic being. The final act is devastating but foreshadowed Frakes' illustrious career as a Star Trek director. Yeah, I wasn't keen on it, to be honest. I wasn't keen on that one. I preferred the Drumhead, which I thought was his first one. Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Season 3, Episode 12, Past Tense, Part 2. Another one, to be honest, I'm not keen on. I'm not a huge fan of time travel stories, I'm sorry. And again, it's an uncomfortable one, so, Many Deep Space Nine episodes are allegories for real-world issues, and the two-parter Past Tense is among those stories. Jonathan Frakes directed the second part, piggybacking on the concepts of its predecessor. In the episode, Sisko Bashir and Jadzia Dax, Terry Farrell, are transported back in time during a pivotal moment in her Earth's history. 2024, I think. The second part is epic. The stakes are high, lives and history are on the line, and it's possible that one of the crew will not be returning home. Frakes captures the claustrophobic environment and the dread of the hostage situation while ratcheting up the tension in the scenes where the Deep Space Nine crew try to retrieve their lost comrades. This episode is not for the faint of heart. Yeah, as I say, it's a bit well, it's called tense, isn't it? Past tense, but it's a bit too tense for me. Star Trek Discovery, Season 2, Episode 9, Project Daedalus. Oh, got another Jonathan Frakes one. I suppose I better read it, haven't I? Have we got many to go? Well, just these couple in the rubbish ones. Project Daedalus, directed by Jonathan Frakes, has a little of everything, but this Star Trek Discovery episode is emphatically an emotional roller coaster. While the crew tries to discover the location of the evil secret department Section 31, and Michael Burnham, Sonequa Martin Green, attempts to make peace with her estranged brother Spock, Ethan Peck. I like science. They have no idea that evil is closer home than they think. Star Trek is at its best, well, not here it ain't, when it mirrors human emotions, and Frakes brings those to the fore with the story of Ariam, Hannah Cheeseman. This episode will leave you emotional thanks to some brilliant direction and writing that embodies the ethos of Star Trek. The final act involves a high-octane fight scene, but the ending is powerful and utterly heartbreaking. Oh, is it that one where she sacrifices herself? But we didn't know anything about her. We knew she was there. This is like this cybernetic person. Basically, she's a robot with a human brain in, pretty much. And we knew nothing about her. But then in this episode, we suddenly found out everything about her, and about her past, and how she was in an accident, and that's how she ended up like she was. And then she dies. So he just bunged it all in one episode. God. Star Trek Picard, Season 1, Episode 5, Stardust City, Rag. Is that... Oh, it's awful. But he puts on a French accent. He's French, and he puts on a French accent. The final Jonathan Frakes entry for this list doesn't include the pigging drumhead. Collider, you crap. The final Jonathan Frakes entry for this list opens with one of the most disturbing scenes in Star Trek. It is an agonising scene, and Frakes ekes out the shocking reveal. I presume he's talking about when Icheb gets his eye ripped out. Stardust City Rag is an interesting episode as it's tonally lighter and more vibrant. You just said it's dark. Vibrant than much of Star Trek Picard. Despite the gory opening scene, the rest of the episode takes place on Free Cloud, a planet that looks like a futuristic metropolis. The main cast gets to dress up, 7 of 9 gets to be a badass and a murderer, and there's a satisfying showdown to end it all. Yeah, murders people. Frakes is able to juggle the myriad storylines, character viewpoints, revelations and twists in the episode to make it an exciting entry in the franchise. No, it's crap. It is absolute crap. Oh, I can't explain how bad it is. Star Trek Next Generation, Season 7, Episode 19, Genesis. Oh, no, I like this one. It's the Gates McFadden one. Good old Cheryl Gates McFadden. Star Trek The Next Generation occasionally dabbled in body horror, and one of the most memorable entries was Gates McFadden's sole Star Trek directing credit, Genesis. After a busy day in sickbay, it appears several members of the crew are behaving strangely. When Captain Jean-Luc Picard, Sir Patrick Stewart and Data leave on an away mission, they return to a ship transformed. This is a dark and eerie episode with jump scares at every corner. McFadden uses the makeup artist's effects to great use to build suspense and tension, and this piggybacks on how she's able to leverage the actors' abilities to capture their erratic behaviour. Genesis isn't for everyone, and that's the brilliance of it. McFadden brings a totally new genre to Star Trek with this episode. Yeah, I like Genesis, it's good. The crew, you know, they devolve into weird creatures, you know, that share DNA with, you know, whatever species they are. Star Trek Voyager Season 5, Episode 22, Someone to Watch Over Me. Another episode featuring an oddball pairing. This time it's the Doctor, Robert Picardo, and former Borg 7 of 9. When the Doctor teaches 7 how to socialise, Don't teach her, don't have very much luck, but, you know, if you watch Picard Season 2, she's great at socialising. New feelings emerge that neither is prepared for. Robert Duncan McNeill brings to the screen a romantic story that's funny, silly and heartbreaking all at the same time. McNeill's ability to leverage Picardo, and Ryan's easy chemistry sells the story. The scene where the two of them sing "You Are My Sunshine" is such a delight. It will bring a smile to your face. This is a classic tale of the mentor falling for his oblivious mentee, but McNeill's direction veers the story away from ick territory. Instead, Someone to Watch Over Me is a sweet tale of love found and lost. The last scene is a tearjerker. Doesn't matter how many times you watch it. Yeah, it is. It's quite sad. Doctor falls in love with Seven. And obviously she don't love him. I think she's after Chakotay. I think she has like holodeck simulations of her going on dates with Chakotay. Star Trek The Next Generation Season 6 Episode 8 A Fistful of Daters. I didn't like this one. This is the Patrick Stewart one. When Worf is ordered to enjoy his time off, his son Alexander Rozhenko, Brian Bonsall, drags him to join a holodeck program, but their father-son holiday takes a turn for the weird when the holodeck characters start resembling Commander Data. The Next Generation utilised the concept of the holodeck brilliantly, and one of the more impressive episodes was A Fistful of Daters, directed by Sir Patrick Stewart. Who doesn't love a jaunt through the Old West? Sir Patrick captures the genre so well that it's easy to forget what show you're watching. The actors are clearly having a great time in the setting, especially Spiner, who manages to be believable as every character in the programme. Sir Patrick and the editing team do a fabulous job of embedding multiple versions of Brent Spiner in the episode. Considering the technology available in the 90s, this is a fun jaunt that still manages to be suspenseful. And that's your lot. I wasn't keen on that one. To be honest, I'm not a fan of Western episodes in science fiction, even though I like Firefly, which was entirely a Western, but that's different. But I didn't like the Enterprise episode where they went to a North Star, where they went to like this planet where it was like a Western town, and I didn't like the Red Dwarf where they did the Horsemen of the Apocalypse, whatever they're called. That one, that like a Western, wasn't it? I don't like it when they just end up being in Westerns. But I love Westerns for some reason, but I don't like it when they mix Westerns in with me Star Treks and me Red Dwarfs and stuff. So I didn't like it when they did it in Battlestar Galactica either. The original, not the new ones. Right, one more and then we're done. I thought it was going to be a short night tonight. I didn't think we had much to read, but I've blathered on, haven't I? Right, anyway, Gaia spacecraft discovers parts of the Milky Way are much older than thought. And there's the Milky Way, the whole sky. Northern Hemisphere, so they're the large and small Magellanic Clouds. Using data from ESA's Gaia mission, astronomers have shown that a part of the Milky Way known as the Thick Disk began forming 13 billion years ago, around 2 billion years earlier than expected, and just 0.8 billion years after the Big Bang. This surprising result comes from an analysis performed by Mao-Sheng Shang and Hans-Walter Rix from the Max Planck Institute for Astronomy, Heidelberg, Germany. They took brightness and positional data from Gaia's early data release 3, EDR3 dataset, and combined it with measurements. Oh, sorry, I have to have a drink. By gum. And combined it with measurements of the star's chemical compositions as given by data from China's Large Sky Area Multi-Object Fiber Spectroscopic Telescope, LAMOST, for roughly 250,000 stars to derive their ages. They chose to look at subgiant stars. In these stars, energy is stopped by being generated in the star's core and has moved into a shell around the core. The star itself is transforming into a red giant star. I presume the core has just become like solid iron or something at this point. Because the subgiant phase is a relatively brief evolutionary phase in the star's life, it permits its age to be determined with great accuracy and is still a tricky calculation. How old are the stars? The age of a star is one of the most difficult parameters to determine. It cannot be measured directly, but must be inferred by comparing a star's characteristics with computer models of stellar evolution. The compositional data helps with this. The universe was born with almost exclusively hydrogen and helium. The other chemical elements, known collectively as metals to astronomers, are made inside stars and exploded back into space at the end of a star's life, where they can be incorporated into the next generation of stars. So older stars have fewer metals and are said to have lower metallicity. The Lamoste data gives the metallicity. Together, the brightness and metallicity allow astronomers to extract the star's age from the computer models. Before Gaia, astronomers were routinely working with uncertainties of 20 to 40%, which could result in the determined ages being imprecise by 1 billion years or more. Gaia's EDR3 data release changes this. With Gaia's brightness data, we are able to determine the age of a subgiant star to a few percent, says Mao Sheng. Armed with precise ages for 250,000 subgiant stars spread throughout the galaxy, Mao Sheng and Hans Walter began the analysis. Boring. I'm sorry, it's boring. I can't be bothered. Yeah, so basically they've looked at some stars and they found that they're 13 billion years old and the universe is only 13.8 billion years old. So there you go. It's another mystery. I'm going to leave it there because, boring. It goes on a bit. And it's a bit much. Right, so, as I say, we'll leave it there. So until tomorrow, try not to slap somebody in the face if they take the mickey out of your bald wife. I know she's alopecia, but she can wear a wig. But no, she's got to be, a strong woman. I'm showing my problems, but then when people say something about it, she gets all uppity and her husband's got to go and beat somebody up in public. I don't know. This is trouble. Trouble is that, lass. Right, so, anyway, wherever you are in the world, be nice to each other, help each other out when you can, and until tomorrow, I'll see thee. Thanos. Where's my end stream button? There it is.